So let's get started. I'm going to copy this and create an image from it so that we can use it as a reference. So we'll call this search form. And now if you don't have Photoshop, you can get this by copying the 40th step search form PNG and putting it inside of your design screenshots folder and renaming it to searchform.png. All right, let's go to our editor and go to the index.html file. And I'm going to change the image that we're using as a reference. We'll save this and refresh. All right, so there's our form up here. So now let's create the markup for this form. So for any form, we'll start with the form tag. We'll add the two critical attributes, action. In this case, we don't have a location where this form is going to be submitted to yet. So we'll just use a hash symbol. And then method, and we'll default that to post. Then we'll close out our form. And now let's add our inputs. So our first is going to be a select box. So let's do select. Let's give it a name of search type. Let's give it a unique class because we'll probably end up wanting to style this. Now to decide this class, we need a class for our form, which is going to be our component. So let's add a class. We'll call it search form. And then for the class for our select, we can do search form, then we'll do type. And now let's add our options in here. So the value for the first one will probably be something like site, and we'll give it the text site. We'll add another option. We'll add just a couple, even though we don't know ultimately what they're going to be, but just so we can see what it will look like. So we'll add one for support, and let's give this a nice long name, customer support. I'm kind of curious what happens if we have a long option for this select, like if we can change the size of the select. Okay, and let's add one more option. Let's do a search for staff. All right, so there's our select input. Our next input is going to be a text input. So we'll create the markup for that. Input type equals text. It's going to have an empty value, so we don't need that. Let's give it a name though. We'll call it search phrase. We'll give this a unique class, search form, then we'll call it phrase. All right, and that should be good. And then finally we have our submit button. So input type equals submit. We don't need a name for it. And the value will be what shows up here. So this would be another place where using something like symbol set would be useful, where we could put the text search and have it be converted to an icon, but we don't have that at this point. So we'll have to decide whether we're going to put the search icon in the CSS or if we're going to put it in the HTML. It feels like the CSS is the better choice. And then like we did before, when we had an icon that symbolized some important user interface element, we added a title. So let's go with that approach here. So we'll do a title and we'll do submit search. And let's add a class so we can style this, search form submit. All right, we'll save this and refresh. Okay, so